Welcome back to the program. I'm going to try to keep this one a little shorter. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and, I didn't answer comments like I normally do. Been waiting a while today to do this show, just trying to figure out how I was going to do the show. Glenn's wife told me yesterday, not today, yesterday, that they were going to be getting him comfortable. So I wasn't 100% sure what that meant, but I had an idea. And so they are removing him from life support. And I don't know if it happened today or not. I was told it was going to be today, Tuesday. It's already Wednesday night. I haven't been able to get clarification. It just doesn't seem right. We were told that the scans were positive, that they didn't show any negative brain activity. They didn't show anything that would say that he wouldn't be able to recover. Yet, when I talked to his wife, they said that he was continuing to have seizures and that he was not responsive with eye movement and things like that, and that the movement in his feet were due to seizures. She also told me that, sadly, when he went into the hospital, they immediately diagnosed him with having COVID for some strange reason. I don't know why. And as soon as I heard that, I sent her a text and I said, point blank, whatever you do, do not, under any circumstances, allow them to give him remdesivir, or run death as near as I called it in my own book. And she told me that they did it, that they put him on a ventilator, that they gave him remdesivir, and that they didn't tell her they were doing it, nor were there any permissions granted by the family. They just automatically did it. Let me just tell you something before I even go further. If, God forbid, you're in the hospital, you, your spouse, your child, a loved one, whoever it may be, please do not leave their side, no matter what. Stay with them. Talk to every doctor. Talk to every nurse. Be the voice for them if they're in a position where they can't be the voice for themselves. Because this could have been a situation completely avoided. I texted her and I said, please, whatever you do, don't allow them to give him that drug. I've told her point blank, I think she has a massive lawsuit on her hands that she needs to reach out to someone and file. I believe the hospital killed him, I mean. I'll say it. You know me, I don't shy away from anything. And we find out that Glenn is also an organ donor. And I'm sure knowing that was probably not a good thing to have out for these doctors. You know, it's really sick and sad that I even have to think like that. It's twisted that anyone should even think like that. But sadly, the way the medical establishment is today, I just don't think they're really there to help you. I really don't. I think many of them are there to harm you, or to take your organs, or to make more money. You know, I told you guys about the 3313, right? 13,000 on admittance for COVID. $33,000 kickback if they were put on a ventilator, and then if, quote, they died on a ventilator with COVID, they got another $13,000. Okay, Medicare was just raking in the money, kicking back these hospitals. Again, that was during the whole COVID pandemic era, which we are certainly, thankfully, not in anymore. But it doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. I mean, how can he be fine 1 or 2 days beforehand, and then all of a sudden I get these horrific text messages, that say, after speaking with the neurologist and the care team today, we will be transitioning Glenn from life-sustaining care to comfort care. This will happen on Tuesday afternoon. With a sad face. I lost John less than 6 months ago. It's just really sad. It's really sad. Seemed like a pretty healthy guy. He was so dedicated. He's been with me since the Next News Network. That's where he discovered me. And he followed me to the website. And he followed me to Substack, as many of you have as well. He was always the first one to sign in, waiting in queue when we would do the Full Throttle Thursdays. Always first. Always first. Dedicated. His wife even told me that they used to go out and do certain things, and he would tell his wife, "Sorry, honey, you go out. I've got to do this call with Josh." It means a lot. It means a lot. I don't know, honestly, right now, whether he's still alive or not. I just don't know. The text message said Tuesday afternoon. It's Wednesday at 1:01 in the morning. I reached out to his wife. Didn't get a response. I would imagine they're dealing with quite a lot on their plate right now. But yeah, I mean, I found out yesterday, and I'm like numb. I'm just kind of numb, to be honest. There's really no other way to really describe it. It's like, I don't know. It's just something doesn't add up. Something just doesn't add up. And the investigative brain that I have is saying, did the hospital do something nefarious? Did they kill him on purpose? I don't know. I don't know the answer. What I do know is that he had prior issues with his heart. They had to revive him at the accident scene. But if you look at remdesivir, or run death is near, it literally says if somebody has a prior heart issue, that drug will exacerbate that issue. As a matter of fact, you have a 62% survival rate if you're on a ventilator with COVID. 62%. If you have prior heart issues, drops down to 37. I don't know. 9 minutes in. Should I do a show? I have one planned. I don't know. Just really sad. You come to know a lot of the people that support you for a long time, Obviously, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you that I've never met or talked to, but it doesn't matter. Still care about you. You've still supported me all these years. And, one of the special things of what I do is to help people, is to get to know people, is to be that voice of reason, to be that fighter for all of you. And, it's something I love to do, will continue to do. But it's hard when you get to know people and, well. To do a show tonight or not. Glenn would want me to do a show. Knowing him. He'd want me to do a show. So fuck it. Let's do a show. So, the Senate has unanimously passed the no tax on tips by unanimous consent. In the Senate, it has to go back to the House. But it's interesting that just yesterday I said you can't eat the big beautiful bill all at once. Break it up into smaller bills. Here we are, no tax on tips, separate legislation. Exactly what I said. Knock it down 6, 7, 8 different things. I don't know if they're going to do that, but anyway. So that passed the Senate unanimously. No Democrats voted against it. I believe it's going to fly through the House of Representatives. And so that'll be a really big accomplishment. And it's just, no tax on tips. It doesn't have anything to do with overtime yet. It doesn't have anything to do with no tax on Social Security benefits. It's just no tax on tips. But it looks like it's going to pass. And so my question is, well, then why did they have it in the one big, beautiful bill if they knew that they were going to use it separately by itself? So, not sure about that. But anyway. Okay. We know how much I absolutely detest Jack Smith, or Jackoff Smith, as I've called him for a long time. Well, he could be going to jail, okay? And could be going to jail pretty soon. Because there's a whistleblower that has come forward and has said that he has heavily been involved in bribery, extortion, payoffs, things of that nature, where he would basically tell people, hey, this is what you're looking at, jail time, this is how many years you're going to go to prison, or give me $400 million and I'll make the charges go away. That is illegal to do, and he's been caught doing it. Now, the whistleblower, in this case, filed a 118-page affidavit, okay, with solid factual information in it, all right? The name of the person is John Francis Moynihan. Now, this is not some low-level, person in the government that's trying to work their way up the ladder, that can't be taken seriously. No. This guy, former employee of the Drug Enforcement Administration, currently a consultant to the DEA and the United States law enforcement agencies, 35 years experience investigating domestic and international money laundering cases in both criminal and civil matters. The cases that he has worked on involve complex domestic and international financial transactions and have resulted in indictments, plea agreements, criminal convictions, large-scale seizures of money, and settlements in the billions of dollars. He continues to assist the Department of Justice and the Treasury Department in money laundering and other cases, some of which are currently ongoing, all of which is to say that he is a recognized expert in the area of financial analysis, investigations, and money laundering. Okay? His name is John Francis Moynihan. Here's the story. So Jack Smith, before he was in D.C., he's always had a bad record, always. He's had the most amount of court cases overturned at the higher courts. He's a terrible, terrible excuse for a human being. Well, his days could be numbered because a whistleblower complaint was filed with the Department of Justice. Now, this was filed back in 2023, okay? It was filed back in December of 2023. And of course, because Merrick Garland was there and all the rest of the losers in the fake administration, in the auto pen administration, they didn't do anything about it. Because why? Well, I think we know why. They were not concerned with bad actors. They were concerned with good people and trying to frame them, a la Donald Trump, right? So what happened was this whistleblower reported this information to the Department of Justice at that time. November 28th is when the entire thing happened. And the whistleblower's report states, it's a 151-page whistleblower complaint. The affidavit was 118 pages. And it says that Jack Smith is the current special counsel prosecuting Donald Trump on two grounds. This is back then. One related to J6, for which, he went after all these innocent people, of course. And then, of course, going after the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. And it turns out that Jack Smith was working at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. And he was a lead prosecutor representing the the Eastern European division. So Jack was sending people to the Eastern European division to convey the following messages. And they basically talked about that they were offering money to people that they busted. And it says here, people that were innocent, and they knew that they were innocent. And whether they were innocent or not, they were still working on extortion and payoffs. And it says that during the Yugoslavian Civil War, some people were murdered in Kosovo, and Jack Smith knew that these people murdered these people in this war, and they had these crimes coming to the International Criminal Court where his jurisdiction was. Well, instead of indicting all these people, he instead blackmailed them and asked for suitcases of money. In one case, asking for $400,000, and in another case, asking for $9 million. And some of these were even through Bitcoin as well. So it says Jack sought a $100 million bribe from a head of state who refused payment and is now in prison. We learned of these allegations because of a passel of European whistleblowers who ultimately wrote superbly detailed affidavits providing text messages, emails, and other correspondence, as well as financial records in the affidavits in the 151 pages. And it says, in April of 2022, 18 months ago, this information was supported with documentation, was provided by these whistleblowers to the Department of Justice. And of course, at that time, they did nothing. Okay? One of the key whistleblowers contacted the Department of Justice in D.C. to report it directly, and of course, they just ignored it because, again, they were after Donald Trump. Then he called the U.S. Embassy in Spain, who also did nothing. Then he received a phone call from the Department of Justice's Alan Teeger. That main whistleblower then had a phone call with Alan Teeger, thinking that it was someone that he could trust and that he could safely bring this information that he had out to the Department of Justice as well as the Southern District of New York. Teeger then spends the next few minutes of the call trying to get the whistleblowers to recant. And when they refused, reluctantly walked through the allegations and evidence. We now know because of the 90-minute Zoom call that was part of the affidavit and was recorded and saved. So then it turns out that what ended up happening was, was Attorney General Merrick Garland learned about this whistleblower, learned about this material, the affidavit, the payoffs, the money laundering, the extortion, money for freedom, all that stuff. And him and Lisa Monaco, which is basically was his assistant, summoned Jack Smith back to D.C. from Europe. And they sat him down, and according to the whistleblower report, they said to him this: "Listen here, you little son of a bitch. We know exactly what you have done. We know that you have been blackmailing people over in Europe for many, many years, and you are looking at a 30-year minimum jail sentence, Jack Smith. However, if you come back to the United States, we'll make this disappear, and all we want you to do is go after President Trump." Okay? As you are going to come home, you will be prosecuting Donald Trump. We don't care how far-fetched the legal theories may be. You are going to indict him, and you are going to hound him to thwart his return to office. So there you go. So Jack Smith not only was extorting people, was lying to people, was, probably money laundering. I mean, we're talking major, major stuff here. But also, Merrick Garland knew about it and covered it up. So this Department of Justice knows about this. And I believe right now they are working quietly without saying anything on figuring out a way to, at least at a minimum, bust Jack Smith. I'm not sure if they're going to take down Merrick Garland, although they should. But I do believe that Jack Smith is absolutely in their crosshairs. And mainly because of how he treated President Trump. And how many times did I sit and do show after show after show calling him Jack-Off Smith and what a scumbag he was? Well, clearly I was correct once again. So hopefully he's going to go down. So I wanted to just kind of touch on that. The only other really great news of the day was the Supreme Court ruling on TPS stuns South Florida, leaves Venezuela families in fear. So the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration is now allowed to strip deportation protections and work permits for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan gang members. This is amazing news because there's 225,000 of these criminals still in the country, and 100,000 of them alone are in Miami, Florida. So they're hitting Miami, they're hitting Florida first. DeSantis is helping. DeSantis is working with it. We're going to clear out 100,000 of these people in the next 30 days, and then we're going to find the rest throughout the country, and we're going to be able to take out these Venezuelan gang members. So thank you to the Supreme Court for coming to their senses, finally. But I could probably go on about a bunch of other stuff. Glenn would have wanted me to do a show, and that's why I did the show. Yeah, I really don't even know what to think or say. Tomorrow, I'm sure I'll get an update, and I'll be able to give you more of an update. One other thing I'll say is there's a lot of shy people in the audience, and I understand a lot of people don't like being in front of the camera. That's fine, I get it. But I would really love for more people to join the Full Throttle Thursday show. And all you really have to do is just put in the comment section that you want to join, and I'll make sure that Marlene gets your information, gets you hooked up with the Zoom link and everything else. Glenn is going to be missed terribly, and no one's going to really take his spot, but it would be nice after all this time for my audience that is, for whatever reason, shy, to not be shy and to share your thoughts and share your comments and share your voices with everyone, because you're just as important as everybody else. This Thursday was going to be obviously a dedication to Glenn, regardless of the news that I get. I don't know, man. It's tough, Lost John less than 6 months ago, and it just sucks. It just sucks. Anyway, if you want to call it a show, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.